talking about relationship and roles together, my tendency is like I have a boundary, and for some reason they don't want to hold to that boundary. I'm trying to think of like a specific example, but particularly my son, he's 5. So he has tons of emotions when I am telling him, okay, it's time to do this. And so then I've been like putting a limit on his emotions. Like, hey, you can cry about this for 2 more minutes and then we're done and you need to do this thing. But the feeler in me that like sees that sometimes he's genuinely hurt, and I can kind of, for the most part, tell the difference when he's hurt and when he's being manipulative. But I don't even think, like, there's a couple questions. So I don't even think he fully knows that he's being manipulative. Like, I think he does on some level, but it's very subconscious. And so I guess I'm asking, like, in that space, is it okay to be like, and now I'm shutting down these emotions, or is there something better I could be doing? And then also when there's manipulation and he doesn't fully understand what it is there an appropriate consequence for that type of manipulation, or is it just like that will come later that I can?
I have the same question, Carol. Okay. Because I have a very emotional one too.
Okay.
And it's like, at what point do you boundary that?
Right. Okay, great question. Now remember, so we're talking 5-year-olds here. Okay? So we're talking 5-year-olds here, and you really have to determine, do they know what the emotion is that they are giving you? Or are they pitching a fit? Is it like a 5-year-old kind of more sophisticated tantrum? Where, you know, you're getting punished with their screaming, yelling, freak out?
It feels way more like I'm really hurting because I don't get to finish what I wanted to finish, or you're asking me to get off the Kindle because my time is up, but I'm still in the middle of a show, even though I said beforehand, even if you're in the middle, you still have to get off. Then there's like, it's not a fit, it's like hurt, but it's like, sometimes it feels like hurt to try to get, I think he knows because I've created a bad pattern. I feel something when you feel something, that he like plays on that.
Okay. Okay.
And so I'm learning just in the last year to separate my emotions from his, but he got smart enough to know if mom sees me feeling emotions, then she might change her mind, or like I might be able to wear her down.
Right.
And so now I'm like, I feel like I'm like overcompensating with like, I know you can wear me down, and so I am going to,
Okay. Okay, so let's go back to the Kindle thing. Okay, so at this age, do you warn him ahead? You have 2 minutes left on Kindle?
Yeah.
Okay, so you warn him ahead. And then he still pitches the fit when it's time to get off.
Yes.
Okay, and the fit he's pitched has resulted in what in the past? Did he get to stay on longer? Did he get to punish you too? What happened?
Just has to get off, and I say, and sometimes I'm like, then you're not gonna get to have that time tomorrow because you pitched this fit, or because you had a bad attitude and I already warned you that if you do that.
Okay, and then do you stick with that?
Yeah, but I often don't do it because I don't want to do that. So I like the times that I don't say it, I'm just like, all right, well, I really wish that you didn't have a bad attitude.
Okay, so so what you're doing is you're creating a gambler. Okay, gambling works because every once in a while you get a payoff.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I remember Scott, when Scotty was little, once Scotty told him that we were never going to McDonald's again, and I'm like, because I know that's not true. I know we're going to go to McDonald's again. Okay, so it may be that what you're learning is that your punishment's too harsh for the crime.
Yes.
Okay, and see, so then you feel guilty and you let up. And so he knows that every third time, or every, he's gonna gamble that it's, that he's gonna get a hit and get to keep playing at some point, or you're not gonna follow through. Okay, so a better way to do this, there's a couple of things.
That was like so nail on the head. I'm really thankful that you clarified that was happening there.
Okay, so there's a couple of things you can do. You can reward him instead. Okay, so because that's the age he's at right now. Okay, so you could instead just sit down with him and say, what's your little boy's name?
Malachi.
Okay, Malachi, what a great name. Malachi, we have trouble, you and I, with this whole getting off the Kindle at the right time, don't we? And I don't like how I feel when that happens, and I don't think you do either, do you? So give me a couple of words about what you're feeling, okay, so that you feel solid in yourself, that you listen to his feelings. Okay, I feel really mad at you, and I don't like it when you do that to me, and and I just want to kick you. You sound angry. Okay, so now you're giving a label, or you're giving a definition of what anger is. And you know what? It doesn't feel good when you're angry, does it? And I don't like it either. Okay, so how about you and I come up with a reward? Let's say that when I tell you have 2 minutes left on Kindle, or would you rather have 5? What's better for you? Okay, personal power. I'd rather have 5, Mommy. Okay, after 5 minutes, when you get off the Kindle, as soon as your 5 minutes is up, okay, then how could we reward you? What could be a good reward? Well, I would like, let's see, you read a book to me, or I would like whatever it is, okay? Now, the other thing is too, another place of personal power, take yourself out of it. So you get one of those little wind-up clocks, you put 5 minutes on it, you're done.
Yeah, that's
okay?
Good.
And so then when it dings, and he turns it off, he gets the reward. Okay, does that make sense? And then how does your heart feel about all this? Way better.
Yeah, totally.
And now can you follow through with that? Okay, now if he keeps doing it, then you may have to go back to a place of, but it's in the same agreement.
Yeah, I think that's what's interesting is that from a really young age, he was like the super easy kid, really compliant, and so there wasn't enough of the initial like punish and obey, because seriously for so long it felt like there was nothing to punish for, but then I think we didn't build that foundation very well.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's super helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The other thing you can do with this is too, that's really, really good with kids. If he has a pet or a favorite Elmo doll or whatever, you have him teach that pet, or you just use that like crazy. So now you're the daddy, Malachi, and I want you to teach Elmo about what happens on Kindle. And let him teach Elmo, because we learn best when we're teaching. Okay, so anything that you are, it's a new place and a new way of doing something, have him teach Elmo. Or if he has a pet, okay, and pet hamster doesn't want to go to bed, and it's time for bed. What are we going to do with the hamster? Okay, and have him take the role, because now he is in a place where he is parenting himself. He has his own personal power, and he agrees that this is not good to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we can talk about this later, because this might not apply to anyone else, but just a side thought. He really hates role play and like gets emotional about it, and I don't really know fully why that is. So
I'd ask him.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'd ask him. And he may not know why, because it may be something you need to define for him. Because I feel really funny inside, and I don't like it because, I feel like, I'm nervous, or my tummy is jiggly. Oh, it sounds like you're anxious. Okay, so you may need to define for him what that feeling is. Which, by the way, that's what moms are. Moms are Holy Spirit for our kids. Dads are Father God. Moms are Holy Spirit. We define, we teach, we connect all this woo in there into defined way. This is anger, and this is what I do with anger. Okay, and this is, sadness, and here's what I do with sadness. And you define all that for them. Okay, so maybe just a place where you get to now find out how come. Okay?
Great, that's helpful.
Yeah. Anybody else got a thought about this, or?
I have a scenario, the same scenario that's been going on for the last 2 to 3 months. Is now a good platform to ask about it?
Sure. Sure.
So I have 3 kids turning 8, 6, and 4. The middle child is in kindergarten, the oldest child is in second grade. For the last 2 to 3 months, every time the middle child loses a game or gets a math problem wrong or plays a video game and he can't beat the game, or he does a question wrong and the computer knocks him down a couple points, he just goes ballistic, like crying like crazy. He wants to throw the computer, but he doesn't throw it. And on my good day, I can take it for like maybe 15 minutes, maybe. And I can, and then, so of course his going ballistic kind of revs up the whole family, the other two kids. And so he just did it today. He was working on these math problems on the computer. He had got up to 95 points, but then he started to get 3 wrong in a row, and they knocked him down to 86. And so I was trying to explain to him, like, getting this question wrong doesn't change who you are, but I think it was too high level. But we think he's finding happiness and identity in being top dog. But he's too young to see that yet. He just knows he feels happy when his points go up, and he feels happy when he beats his older brother.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, is there a rivalry between the two of them?
So it's an interesting relationship. He thinks his older brother is a god, little g god, like cannot do wrong, smartest boy ever. But at school, the teachers tell me he likes to be the boss. But at home, he submits to his older brother.
Okay. Does his older brother kind of rival with him, like that he can do something that he can't do, or I'm 2 years older, so I get to do blah blah blah, and you can't, that kind of thing?
He doesn't outwardly say it, but I've heard, like, there have been instances where the middle brother will get a question right, and the older brother gets it wrong. And the older brother has said to me, "There's no way he knows more than me." But he doesn't outwardly say anything to his little brother. Okay,
that you know of.
That I know of.
Yeah.
Right.
Because because a couple of things are happening that I hear. Number one, it's very hard to be a middle child, because, especially when you're close in age, because you feel the same age, or you want to be older, and the older kid can do things you can't do. They're riding the two-wheeler before you can, and you want to ride it too, or they're doing some kind of math problem you can't do yet, or there's this rivalry because it doesn't feel fair that he can do something that you can't do, and that's one area. And so then the older brother can tease or play on that, or those kinds of things where they get in this rivalry, the sibling rivalry. The other thing is too that personality-wise, he may be very perfectionistic. He may be shooting all over himself. Okay, so now he has an older brother who can do better than him at riding the bike because he happens to have longer legs and he's 2 years older. He's had 2 years more practice. Okay, and now he's shooting on himself that he should be able to too. And then the other thing is he may be getting rewarded for being so smart or for getting the 96. And so now perfectionism, the shooting perfectionistic place in him says, I get rewarded when I'm the 96. Okay, and so now, and that makes me a good boy. Okay, and so now, he's got to get the 96 or he's nothing. Okay, so there's some things you can do with this. Number one, I would really watch the two of them, or even have a sit down with them about what happens when you're this age, what happens when you're this age, what happens when you're this age. Take it out of the realm of them. At 5 years old, you're allowed to do X. At 7 years old, you're allowed to do Y. At 10 years old, you're allowed to do, just like driving. Okay, so you can't drive before you're 16. Okay, so it may be that And I don't know if you play one against the other, or if in the house there's, a rivalry going that, of comparison. But I take that all out of the realm of your home and have it be simply age. Okay, just like at 16, you can't drive until you're 16. It's just how it goes. So, you can also do it things like, let's say the brother's 2 years older, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Does he have the same bedtime?
Yes, they have the same bedtime.
Okay. You may decide to give the one who's 2 years older, 10 minutes extra before bed because he's 2 years older. Has nothing to do with him. Now, the younger one can earn extra bedtime, or can also, but you kind of have to get this understanding in your home that age does matter in what you get to do or not. Just like your middle one gets to do a whole lot of things your younger one doesn't get to do. Okay, so it may be, that's just how it goes. If that doesn't feel good inside, you need to ask yourself how come. Because in a sense, that's just how life is. Mm-hmm. You don't get to drive till you're 16, or you don't get to, do whatever till, you're at a certain age. How are you feeling about this as I tell you this?
That part makes sense. There's still the part where, on my good days, I let him cry and scream and get mad, saying something doesn't make sense for a really long time. Mm-hmm. Or it's not that long, but to me it feels like a long time. Mm-hmm. But then I draw the line. If he starts to throw things, then I get authoritarian on him. Uh-huh. And I'm not sure, because I know he's feeling frustrated and angry. But if I let him go too long, then I have no capacity, and the other kids start to get riled up. Mm-hmm. And they think it's okay to do that. When I actually, how I grew up, that was not accepted.
Right.
So being able to accept it was like a big step for me.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I'd go back to not focused on the behavior, but what's behind it. So, for instance, so it's not the behavior, it's how come he's so frustrated. So I would do really goofy things like everybody hang upside down, or you're doing this with him alone or with the other kids. You hang upside down on the couch while you're talking, so it kind of like diffuses the whole thing. Or you're playing balloon volleyball while you're saying this. Tell me what you're thinking when you get mad at that you missed that problem. I think I'm so stupid. Or so get behind what the behavior is. Instead of just being focused on the behavior, something's causing that behavior.
So he says that a lot.
He says he's so stupid?
He's not stupid. Yeah. I'm so dumb. How come I couldn't get it?
Okay.
Like, he's not.
Okay. So I would say that I would start rewarding him for when he says, find out where that came from, in the sense of it's not okay to name call yourself. Any more than if you said that to your brother. Would he be in trouble if he said that to his brother? You're so dumb? Okay, in the same way, it's not okay to name call yourself. How come that's okay? So I would, and so when you become frustrated, I know you're name calling. What should we do about this? Or in other words, another way to look at that is, when you miss a problem and you say, you know what, I'm smart and I can do this anyway. Okay?
So that's where we want him to be.
Okay, so you're going to, instead of focusing on the negative behavior he's having, reward positive. Okay? Reward when he says, when he comes up, when he says this dumb thing, I'm so dumb, he needs to come up with 10 times of what he's going to say instead. I'm human and I mess up. Oh well. Or I'm really, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. Or, we all make mistakes. Or whatever the comment is in his brain, for every negative he has to do 10 positives. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Okay, so then what you're...
Don't do it.
Okay, that's the consequence. So then he makes a mistake, before he can take a breath to be frustrated, before he's going to pitch the fit, you're going to say, wow, look at how you're handling this. What are you saying to yourself? Okay, catch him doing well.
Right.
Okay, because what's happening is you're thumbtacking this long negativity. Okay, but there was this place right before it started where he was doing well with it.
Right.
You want to catch that and thumbtack that. Does that make
Right.
sense? So, I mean, it's like for a kid who whines, whine, 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 whine. As soon as they take a breath, you say, I'm so proud of you for stopping whining. How did you do that?
Yes.
Okay, instead of don't whine, don't whine, don't whine, you're going to catch what he is doing well first. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, that's number one. Then you're going to extinguish the negative behavior. So in other words, here's what you're going to do. This sounds really weird, but it works. What's your little boy's name?
Evan.
Okay, Evan. And you have to really believe this for it to work. Evan, you know what? I notice that when you're doing your math problems, often you end up pitching a fit. And you know, it's uncomfortable for all of us. I'm sure it's uncomfortable for you. So let's do this. Before you even start your math problems, you go ahead and go on in and pitch your fit. Right now. Because you need to. You just must need to. So you go on ahead and go in your room. I mean, kick, scream. You go on ahead. You know you don't destroy things, but go pitch it now beforehand. Okay, now you've just prescribed the problem. Well, I don't want to. Oh, you don't want to pitch a fit? Okay. Okay, or well, that's stupid. Yeah, that can look kind of dumb sometimes. Or go ahead and get that energy out of there and go pitch that fit. That's cool. Okay, but you have to believe that's okay. Okay, you have to believe that for it to work. Okay, so now you've extinguished how awful it is, how horrible it is, how upsetting it is to everybody, how he's ruining the whole house, how it creates this whole mess. Instead, it's like, go on ahead and do that. And by the way, you need to do it in your room, because I don't like listening to it, but you all go on ahead. And when you're done, come on out and do your math. Now, when he comes out, he has said he's done because he came out. Is this making sense, you guys?
That's working.
What's that?
That worked with Ember really, really well. I just wanted to say that really worked.
It does. Because he now has choice in it. He now has his own personal power in it. He chooses when it's over. And by coming out, he said it's over. Does that make
And
sense?
this is before the actual thing.
Yes. Yeah, tomorrow. I mean, I'd say, you know what? I'm noticing math is just...
Go to the throw and throw the fit you're going to throw when you lose.
Yeah, exactly. But I wouldn't say it like that. You have to give him really good mother nurturing, not coldness about it. I see that, you know, hey, we're going to play the board game in a few minutes. And, you know, I notice this is just so hard on you at times. And it's really just a tough place for you to be. You know, when things don't go right. And we all know we're all human and things don't go right so much of the time that I'm guessing it probably won't go right at part of this game for you. So what I'd like to do is you go on ahead and pitch the fit now. And get it all out of your system. I know you need to do that. You have to believe this for it to work. Okay? And then when you're done and ready to play the game, you come on out. Okay, so you've given him the parameters, the boundaries. Okay, so when he comes out, it's saying, I'm done, I'm ready to play the game. I accept that we all mess up. I accept that sometimes I don't get it. I accept that. And when he comes out, you're like, yay, let's play.
And then what happens when after the game he pitches the fit again because he lost, even though we let him pitch the fit before already?
I would say watch and see if that happens.
Okay.
Okay? If it continues to happen, I would say, oh, I thought you were done.
Okay.
Go on back, and we'll just go ahead and play, and when you're done, you come out. It's not, don't allow it to be this powerful thing that he's affecting the whole family. And it's this big old huge powerful thing. It's like, go on, you know, Yeah, you go on ahead, but you have to believe that. Give him his own, hi there, Pumpkin. Give him his own, hi Claire. Give him his own personal power. Sorry, I just had to say hi. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah, and so you stay very neutral about it. Oh, I thought you were done. You go on back. Come on out when you're done.
Okay.
Okay?
Carole, would you say it also takes away the element of attention seeking as well?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And it takes
Because
away.
we did that with Bella in soccer, and it changed everything. She never went back. She refused to have the prescribed fits, and then she just never ever had them again because she was perfectionistic in sports.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
she just never had them again. It
Yeah.
was like, oh no, I'm not doing that.
Right. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it is, because it's their own personal choice now. And it's not going to get the effect. So why do it?
One other thing, when he's doing the computer problems, and he throws the fit, after a certain amount of time, I do ask him to go to his room and continue his fit. But in his fit of tears, he refuses to go to his room and says he would like to continue doing the problems.
Yeah.
To me, that does not seem healthy to
Yeah.
be in this. But then if he starts to get the problems right again, then the fit stops.
Yeah.
But if he gets them wrong, then the fit, it's like it just cycles.
Right. So I get it out beforehand.
Okay.
And also, when he calls himself a bad name, he needs to call himself something healthy instead 10 times. And he can write it 10 times. He can say it jumping on one foot 10 times. He can, but you are not allowed to call yourself ugly names any more than you're allowed to call me or your brother or anybody else ugly names. It's not okay.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And then give him a healthy way, or help him figure out what he wants to say instead.
Got it.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. What else are you guys thinking about in this whole thing?
Carole, I have a middle, and we use the age thing, but he just doesn't seem to get it. When we say, oh, your brother at this age wasn't doing this, but he's so, he loves his brother and, thinks highly of his brother, that he wants to do all things. So it's kind of like you're not letting me do this because you're just not letting me do this, but we've used this, no, it's like an age thing.
Okay.
How do I get around that?
So how is it you say it? You say your brother wasn't allowed to do this at this age?
No, so let's say, let me give you an example of something. Oh, I know this is kind of silly, but it is what it is. So when we go to go eat, right? We're like, okay, you have to order something off the kids menu, and the brother's not ordering off the kids menu, but brother's also 2 years older than you, and brother, you know what I mean? So it's at this time he was still ordering off the kids menu.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one little thing. So it's different things, but it's kind of we're using the age thing, like you said, use it about age.
Yes.
But he's still feeling like.
Okay, you just said a big, huge word, have. You have to. You have to order off the kids menu, okay? Instead of you get to. Okay? You still get to order off the kids menu. Do you hear the difference? Because you just told me I have to do something that he doesn't have to do. Okay? Or you say at age, how old are they? What are their ages?
9 and 12.
Okay. At 12 years old, you don't order off the kids menu anymore. At 9, we still order off the kids menu. It's just how it is. Any more than, at 16, you get to drive. At 11, you don't. It's just how it goes. See? But if you make it a have to, it's like this antenna went up that goes, I have to. It becomes this whole, thing that he's going to rebel against. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I would say this, I would say that if it becomes a place where he still acts out that place, I do the same thing. Hey, we're at the restaurant. Usually, I've noticed in the past, not usually, I've noticed in the past there have been times when you've had a problem ordering off the kids' menu. And so if you need to go ahead and have an issue about that, you go ahead and stay in the car. Okay? We're going to go sit over here and check out this bug on the street. Okay? Anything, whatever. Because you're going to extinguish this, but you go on ahead and have the fit now. Because in the restaurant, this is what we do. Does that make sense? Like I had a riot, truly a riot. I used to be the therapist for the 12 to 18-year-olds at Olive Crest who were the most damaged kids in the county. They lived in a building that had one unlocked door. They had flunked 30 to 40 placements and massively abused. And I had all these behavioral assistants who would help, and I was the therapist of the unit. And on Saturday, the boys went wacky, and they called me. I go down there. The behavioral assistants are all in the glass locked office as the boys are tearing the place up. Okay? And the boys were big old, half men. So I walked in, I picked Cliff, because Cliff wasn't doing that much, and I walked over to Cliff and handed him a piece of candy and said, hey, come tell me what you think about this color wallpaper. Because the wallpaper's now been ripped off, right? Do you think we ought to go ahead and and I just ignored him. Do you think we ought to go ahead and do this orange or blue? And Clifton's having a good time. He's got candy. And so we start talking about this wallpaper. Like I could care about the wallpaper. I'm not caring about the wallpaper, but I am going to focus over here. Well, pretty soon, Randy shows up and goes, what are you guys talking about? Oh, Randy, I see you've chosen to have good behavior. Here, have a piece of candy. We're talking about this wallpaper over here. Okay? Well, I don't remember how many boys were on the unit, but we ended up all discussing wallpaper and having candy. Okay? Now, they had consequences for their behavior. But what that was thumbtacking good behavior and extinguishing bad behavior, right? By neutral, just not noticing it. So if you need to have an ugly attitude at the restaurant, you go on ahead, stay in the car, and have your attitude. We're going to go over here and do something interesting. So you take everybody over here, and you're like, can you believe this ladybug? Okay, because that's extinguishing a negative, and doing a positive in relationship with the other kids. Does that make sense? What are you thinking as I say that?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So, but it's kind of like if you say I have to, and it's just a rule, just any more than, we don't pee on the carpet here. Nobody's allowed to pee on the carpet. That's just a rule in our house. At 12, you get to use the regular menu, and at 9, you get to use the children's menu. So you just state the rule, and that's how it goes.
Yeah. Thank you.
For second kids, is it a question of their value though? Because I have something similar with my kids on a totally different level of like, it feels like she feels like she's less valuable because she doesn't get to do that.
Explain that again, Becca. What were you saying?
Like with Ember, it's like, well, Malachi gets to do this because this is what he's working on today. You can do this, or if you really are going to bug Malachi because I'm not letting you do this thing that he's doing, you're going to have to go to your room. But then I can kind of intuit that she feels like I'm less valuable because I don't get to do that thing.
Okay, what was the thing?
Like cut with scissors.
Okay. So I would say that, and how old is she?
She's 3.
Okay, she's 3. Okay, so at 3, she's going to need help with that, correct?
Cutting with scissors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say, I can see when Malachi was 3, here's how we did it with him. Mommy holds him, and we do this together. Okay? Because it's become so exciting and important because she can't do it. Mm-hmm. Right? Remember when Scotty was little,
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you take away the of it. Okay, when Scotty was little, he took off for our or our electric socket with a butter knife. He was little. So what I did was I got a plug with, so the plug part, I cut it off an old lamp, and I got a light socket, an electric socket from the hardware store, and he would sit and do this all day long. But he knew this is where I do it, that's where I don't do it, okay? Or like matches. He sat in a bathtub full of water and lit matches.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
And so he gets, it's like, yeah, it's not that big a deal. And there's a place to do it and a place not to do it. Okay, age appropriate. He wanted earrings so bad when he was in 3rd grade. So I gave him pearls, and clear nail polish. And he would, sit there and look at these. And then he gets tired of it because it's not that big deal anymore. He got his ears pierced when he was like 17. Okay, so you can give it to them age appropriately.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it takes away the, he gets to do this and I don't. And I think it's like, oh, not that big a deal. Same thing with like pitching the fit. It's like really not very fun if you don't have, an audience. There's this great saying that says, and then we should quit, you guys. But there's this great saying that says this: there would be no parade without the bystander or without the spectator. Okay, we think the big parade thing is actually it's the spectator who makes the parade. Okay, so it's like letting go of making it such a big deal and give them how, not that big a deal. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah, it's really good, Carol.
All right,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So this
So
week,
good.
keep doing a must. You get to try again on a must or a should in your life. And let me know if you can email me if you have more questions about something that's not working or it is working or whatever. And let's talk next week.